Chapter 15 of the original autobiographical novel 10 Years of Marriage by Su Qing, a female writer in the Republic of China. Mom is back, yo. Grandma. There was an unprecedented commotion in Xin's house. Children's surprisey old mom and Wang Ma are also overjoyed. Everyone stared at me inexplicably, feel a little embarrassed, settle everyone in an explanatory way. The young master is going to the mainland. The children are left unattended, but how can they believe it? The so-called aunt seemed even more extremely uneasy. I said I would try to send you, old man, back to Incheng. She looked at me with tears in her eyes. There is no firewood at home, only the unemployed and sick son and the shrewish and unfilial wife. She started flattering Mesh, said she really couldn't bear to leave her child. Pooth, children have had enough of your suffering. Willing to keep you again, though you want to torture them while I'm away? I decided to give her some money. Tried to send her to the country. Sidiction temporarily lives on the 3rd floor. Didn't leave every day. Pay for all the food expenses at home. He eats out by himself, he said. What is this? Call them friends. It doesn't matter if you all just have some light meals. So he ate with us, mentally depressed. No, his clothes are blocking the light for stalking women outside. Fine, cash on hand now, so I can't move around later. These problems were solved by me. But he still hasn't left. He said he was waiting for a companion to go with him. Zhao Ruiguo can't find me anywhere. He is anxious. Shave someone deliver the letter to my apartment on Lencian Road collected by Zhao Ningbo. It said that he was leaving Shanghai. Went to bid me farewell once more. I don't even care about any friends. No have a home and Kildreni think making money is the most interesting thing. Everything in Sheen's house is dilapidated and dilapidated. I will do everything for them. Money spent on book flags is not a small amount. And the children's clothes after their divorcee have never knitted a new dress for Lingling Yuan. Now I have to cut a lot of them for them. Arduous yet gratifying. Joby will do my best to create happiness for the children. It's so easy to get this opportunity. Agoini want to show some achievements to John. Let him go to the mainland with peace of mind. Don't worry about the children. Anna Marie want to fulfill my mother's wish. He have asked for his grandchildren back for him. Let her rest. Asheretti need to write to her quickly. However, I can't be too sorry for Zhao Ruiguo's request. Go out quickly. Had dinner with him, he asked suspiciously. Have you had any important activities recently? I said no, he said. Then why are you so busy? I wanted to tell him. Then Yi Kun held it back again. He only vaguely talked about some personal things. Sorry for Himi didn't ask any more questions. After dinner, he asked me if I wanted to watch a show. I shook my head and said no. I just want to go back early. He said he was going to Nanjing tomorrow. Please accompany me to Dolly's apartment for the night tonight. I think it's really indispensable. Together in his car. We rarely talked in the car. No, he was afraid that it would be inconvenient for the coachman and bodyguards to hear him. But what kind of person do they treat me as? A servant? It's a bit awkward when I think about it. There is no elevator in the apartment. Had to run straight up. I'm afraid it will be inconvenient to meet someone I know. I'll leave him separate. Two completely unrelated people. As a result, I arrived in the room first. Silence of the end. Soft bed. Gorgeous bedding. He seemed to care less about thermal material. Enjoyment is not as good as the warmth in the hearth home without children. Every corner is cold. Zhao Ruiguo came in panting hard and speechless. He told him to sit down. He waved his hand to slow down. Over time Istma is Gonathan. He told me that I needed to take a bath first. He stood in front of the window sullenly. There is an unspeakable intersection in my heart. Lingling should be waiting for me to go back and undress for her, right? I don't need Fana to assist me, just want to keep the feeling of warmth. He is also a middle-aged man. Rick, status, and a comfortable homie. Are you looking for me for excitement? How many children does he hope to have? Why am I a machine for making children? I already have 2 children. No need to continue having children. If he really loves Messhold, I treat my child as his own child. But how can there be such an ideal man in the world? They are all narrow-minded. They are all old-fashioned. They can't love a good, fat, smart kid aimlessly unless he can be confident this child has his own blood relationship. What a stupid idea. Very meticulous sperm can determine whether a very generous father's love or not. What a joke. If he really loves me, he will definitely push for the child. I love you. If he doesn't, that must be fake. It must be fake. Thinking about it, he has finished bathing and walked out. Asked me if I wanted to go in and wash myself. I know I can't go back tonight. Feeling very restless lest he find it unpleasant to sit with him. So he nodded and said yes. Personally went in and cleaned the bathtub for me. He also prepared towels, soap and other things for me. Just turned on the hot water tap. Let the water flow. Close the bathroom door. Asked me to wait in the bedroom. Quite some time passed. He said the water was almost full. Asked me to take off my coat and go. He refused to take off my cheongsam outside. Feel embarrassed. Said the water vapor inside was heavy. Clothes should be damp. He still refused to take off my cloth. She had no choice but to follow and take off my cloth. She took out the cheongsam for methane. Kamini said I was closing the door. Please go out. Smiled and said, what does it matter? You just need to tear off the wooden fence in front of the wooden vat. Everything is covered. Can I still see it? I have no idea. I had to follow what he said. Still in the bathroom. Seems to be shaving. After a while he came to the wooden wall. I gained. Do you want me to help you rub your back? I'm afraid he's going to reveal. I quickly pressed Mui's feet and said no. Please go outside first. They smiled and said, I want to wait for you to go out together. A moment of spring night is worth 1,000 pieces of gold. And adopt a strict polichi. Only hate him in my heart. He have no choice but to think that it's already late at night. Are the children crying and noisy? The temperature in the bathroom continues to recede. Just feel warm all over. Almost fainted in the end. He helped him into the bedroom. Reluctantly fell asleep. Early next morning Ji woke up early, just lying quietly and not moving. Afraid of waking him up. The curtains are tightly wrinkled. He can't tell whether it's sunny or rainy outside. I'll go home later and ask where you were last night. What words should I use to describe it? Yes, we are divorced. He has no control over my actions. However, the habit is extremely naturally. Always feel embarrassed when I see Himiwanyuan still sleeps with her old mother. Lingling slept in the same bed as my. Turned over a lot last night. Will she fall out of bed? I shouldn't have lost my children just to deal with others. I believe I don't love him deeply. Only love my Yuan and Lingling. It's better to go home quickly. Think of Thesi. Couldn't help but turn around slightly. Suddenly opened his eyes. Asked, what's on your mind? I said no, I just woke up. He held up my face and took a closer look. I know it's been a long time since you woke up, like thinking of someone. So I pretended to be asleep. He won't interrupt your fantasy. Feel I have a grievance that I can't express. Became so angry that he sat up and said, since you said so, I really want to go out. Let me get up first. They seemed unhappy. But it doesn't stop me. It's like a fake show. Finished washing up in a hurry, about to go out. Did he say not to have some snacks? It's still very early. Shook my head. He also said that I am going to Nanjing this afternoon. Come back soon and have dinner with me. Let's talk for a few more horse. From now on it's all your free team. I feel very unhappy. Thought to myself, what obligation do I have to accompany you? But it's inconvenient to say. Just nodded. Vagalith. Morning wind is coolly. Was shaking on the road, thinking about how far the journey is. It can really be said that it feels like returning home. Arrive at home. I saw that the children were all well. Xian is teasing them. When he saw me, he asked me if I had breakfast. It's quite cold outside, right? He didn't ask where I was last night. Just tell me that Lingling his hair. Woke up at night. See, I'm not here. At casual clothes and pants started to tremble. Walking up to the 3rd floor in the dark. He was so frightened that he called his father with a trembling voice. Sean thought he was dreaming. When I turned on the light, I realized it was Lingling. Just ask her to sleep with her. Liston again at 4 or 5 o'clock. Still haven't come back. Followed Lingling and fell asleep. I felt so sorry for what she said, so I hugged Lingling and kissed her. At lunchtime, they all sat down. I was too embarrassed to say that I had to go out, so I just followed her and ate. I remembered that Zhao Ruiguo treated me well. He was leaving Shanghai today, so I decided to do my best. During the meal, Sean asked me if I had anything else to do in the afternoon. I said I had to go out for something, but I would be back soon. When Lingling heard this, she started to argue and said, Mom, don't go out. If you go out, you won't be back at night. I felt even more embarrassed, but I still coaxed her. I felt bad. In a panic, he hurried to Duoli Mansion. Xiao Ruiguo sat silently in the room, like a solidified boulder, not shaken at all. I asked him if he had eaten. He replied unhappily, I had an appointment with you. I am still waiting for you. I said, what should I do? I have already eaten at my friend's house. He thought about it and said, in this case, I will not go out to eat. You look bad today. You went out early in the morning. You must be tired. Let's lie down for a while. I won't forgive you. Please rest assured that I didn't answer at first. Ying later. I felt really tired. I crawled into the quilt and lay on my side. He sat on the edge of the bed. He didn't scare me. He just stroked my hair with his hand and sighed softly. I don't know when I fell asleep. I don't know when I woke him up. He told me that the time was almost up. I was leaving. I have something for you. Put it under the pillow. You should sleep a little longer. He kissed my forehead and left. After a while, I just felt a stomachache. I didn't put on any clothes. I went to the bathroom. The stomachache didn't stop. I want to go to bed and sleep for a while. I can't fall asleep after I wake up this time. I remember that I put the pills in the apartment on Lanzian Road. I'm like a cunning rabbit with 3 burrows. Life is really inconvenient. What I need is not in front of me. I'll call Zhao Ningbo to get it. I haven't given him the key yet. I want to go and get it myself. I really can't stand it anymore. What should I do if I lie here? I should go back to my child's home. So I reluctantly get out of bed. I don't care about the messy bedding. I put on neat clothes. I just feel a chill in my bones. The abdominal pain is getting worse. I feel dizzy. I just wanted someone to support me. Before I left, I suddenly remembered that Zhao Ruiguo had said that there was something under the pillow. I turned around to get it. God knew it was a check. He wanted to buy my love with money. It was absurd. My love for my children could not be stopped by any inducement or coercion. I came here because of my love for him. I was not greedy for material things or living expenses. I had myself and he had no reason to insult me with money. I was angry and tore up the check with my shaking hands. My body didn't know anything. I could only bite. I gritted my teeth and went downstairs. If I had to die, I would rather die at home. Sean didn't go out. Seeing that I looked bad, he asked me what happened. I couldn't help crying. He said I was sick. He quickly made a quilt for me and told me to go to bed. Old ladies like Wang Ma also came over to ask questions. Everyone was busy filling hot water bottles to measure my temperature. Ling Ling also lay on the edge of the bed and stared at me blankly. I felt very touched. This is a home, a warm home. Sean didn't sleep on the 3rd floor at night. He just set up a canvas bed in our room. He got up to accompany me and gave me tea many times at night. Wake me up to take medicine the next morning. Later I knew that Sean didn't go to the mainland because he was unsure of his position. He persuaded him to stay in Shanghai and read books. This period won't last too long. Don't look for a job, will just take care of the family expense. Servants love to gossip. So the neighbors knew that the family expenses were paid by Methy. Looked down on Sean. He knew he was very anxious, but there was no way to stop him. Sometimes I came home late. Wang Ma kept all the good side dyslexia. He didn't say anything, just swallowed a few bowls of rice. Sometimes I came back just after they finished eating. The servants brought up the remaining side dishes. The children saw the delicious dishes and clamored to eat more. I persuaded Sean to have a bowl, but he refused again and again, saying that he had already eaten. You guys should eat more. I knew he was very sad. I secretly told the servants several times not to leave any food for me, but they just didn't listen. Zhao Ruiguo wrote a letter from Nanjing, saying that he met Prime Minister Jin when he got on the car, and accompanied him in his special car to Tong. On the way, Prime Minister Jin suddenly asked him a question, saying Miss Su is very romantic. He didn't know how to answer. Did Prime Minister Jin already know about his relationship with me? Or did Prime Minister Jin hear other rumors that were unfavorable to me? He said he hoped that I could write a brief account and not argue with others. I read the letter and felt disgusted. I secretly thought that if I had known how to write a subtraction, I would not have been friends with you. What others say has nothing to do with me. I am a free body and can do whatever they want. Besides, my whereabouts are secretive. It's to take care of my children. Gradually, people know about the matter is over. What is the reunion? The phoenix returns to the nest. Everyone is talking about it. Some say that I am like an overseas student who is tired of eating foreign food and has returned to the embrace of the motherland. It seems that the divorce and departure in the past were entirely due to my instability. Mrs. Qi once said to me in an unnatural way, Miss Su, I am very happy to hear the news that you have reconciled. Husband and wife are always husband and wife. She used to sympathize with me when I was wronged. Now she hears that I have no ambition to go back to my old love. It is boring. So she perfunctorily said that she didn't know they were behind my back. How can they talk about me in the future? Sean and I just live together and have no relationship, let alone restore the marriage relationship. They will never understand and believe me. But why should I force others to understand and believe me? I want my child. The child is finally back in my arms. This is everything. I will sacrifice for this without regrets. The situation is getting more tense day by day. Planes come to bomb from time to time. I have only unspeakable fear in my heart. Although a glorious victory is also a good thing, life is more important. and there are innocent children. Let the unarmed women and children be killed in vain. He was killed in a plane explosion. You can't say he died a heroic death. So I was very worried. I didn't know where to escape to. A famous novelist also published a magazine in Shanghai. This magazine had a close relationship with a certain army in the propaganda department, so it could get a lot of matching paper. In fact, his publication was not available in the world. He only printed 100 or 200 copies and gave them to various circles. The paper he spent was only a 50th of what he received. Later, a certain army in the propaganda department suspected him and wanted to check his accounts. He came up with a plan. One day he told me that the publishing business was too difficult. He had to pay cash frequently. It doesn't work, so it can't be promoted. I hope that those who are interested can support it. Union. I felt very sympathetic when I heard it. I asked him how he planned to remedy the situation. He said he wanted to write a letter to Prime Minister Kim and ask him for help. But Prime Minister Kim was too busy. The letters were all secretary level. I was afraid that they would not reach him at all. I thought I could help with these small matters. I said I would pass the letter to him. As for whether he would agree, it was none of my business. He thanked me again and again after hearing it. He handed the letter to me the next day. The envelope was not sealed properly. I took it out and read it. It was full of flesh. Hemp flattery at the end. He signed his name, say it is respected and beloved so and so, as if he was writing a love letter. He couldn't help but laugh later. Prime Minister Kim asked me what he thought of this person. He naturally spoke well of him. Prime Minister Kim gave him a huge sum of money, said he wanted to reward Mebu. I refused verbally. It is not worthwhile to help a friend with a small favor. If I were to be rewarded, would it be a waste of pure motives? As a result, the novelist took Prime Minister Kim's money and sold all the ration paper. He had cut down on oil for half a year, wrote a scroll and went to the interior. When he arrived in the interior, he cursed Prime Minister Kim for being incompetent and a certain army for corruption over there. People don't know the old etiquette. They all regard him as a patriot. To be honest, he is really worthless. Later, Prime Minister Jin Kairan told me that he wanted to go to the mainland. I was still willing to help him. Why bother to lie and play tricks? He actually misjudged me. I am willing to jump into the fire pit myself. I will never force others to do the same. I hope they can all embark on a brighter and more profitable path. I felt very sad when I heard it. Planes circled overhead all day long. The sirens sounded shrill and long, which made people tremble with fear. I was so scared that I didn't even dare to go out. I had to leave the miserable business. The career ended. I also knew that the physical pain of dying with my family was the same as being killed alone. However, I could be more comforted in spirit, so I stayed at home every day and carefully watched over the children. However, Sean was not often at home since then. At first, I thought he was busy with his career, so I repeatedly urged him to stick to it. The light was in sight. Later, I seemed to hear someone say that he had a girlfriend again. On the extremely tense night of air raid, he had already done something with her. This news couldn't be true. Alright, this part of the story ends here.
Want to know what happened next? Let's listen to the breakdown next time.